Now, thousands of Afghans living in Iran are fleeing across the border because of the attacks by the U.S. and Israel. According to the United Nations, between 3 and 5 million Afghans live in Iran. Around 2,000 are crossing the border every day to seek safety. Many of them have been repeatedly displaced by decades of conflict, violence and poverty. Joining us now on Al Jazeera is Arafat Jamal, who's the representative of the UN's refugee agency in Afghanistan. He is joining us from the border with Iran. Thank you so much for your time. What are you seeing on the ground there at that border as Afghans cross back into Afghanistan? How rapidly are the numbers increasing?
Thank you for having me. I've spent much of this morning on a blisteringly cold day at the border with Iran, speaking to many of the Afghans who have crossed over. At the moment, what we've seen is about 110,000 have crossed over this year. What I would say is that they're reporting that they are fleeing the conditions of war that all people inside Iran are experiencing. They are not at this point highlighting any specific concerns for Afghans. However, what we're witnessing here is a lot of tension and apprehension. This is just the beginning, and the repercussions of this conflict are being felt throughout the region. Of course, for these people, there are no good choices. They're fleeing one war and coming to another, because I'm sure your viewers remember that we here in Afghanistan are experiencing a second war, a war that predated the one in Iran between Pakistan and Afghanistan. So they're fleeing one conflict and entering another one at the moment.
Yeah, and I do want to ask you some more about that. But before that, perhaps if you could tell us more about who the people returning are. Are they long-term Afghan residents of Iran, migrant workers? Are they families who've lived there for decades? Who are the people who are coming back?
It's all of the above. And if you recall, this is coming on the back of a mass movement of people last year. Last year, the movement of Afghans back to Afghanistan, 2.8 million, was the largest such movement globally. So now, as we start this year, it's picking up again, and we are seeing refugees, we are seeing migrants, we are seeing passport holders, and so on. And at the moment, it seems to be more of a preemptive move. People are describing bombs on them, a great deal of fear, but they're also describing a dysfunctional economy where these people who filled in many of the different slots in the labor market are unable to find jobs right now. So it's a wide assortment of people.
And many of them often were blamed back in Iran, many of these Afghans, for being responsible for the economic hardships that Iran was facing. We saw this last year where there was a lot of social pressure on Afghans within Iran. What are they telling you about that? And now that they're back in Afghanistan, what risks are they facing?
So interestingly, at the moment, it almost seems that the Iranians and security forces and others are distracted by other matters. So they're not, unlike last summer, they're not cracking down specifically on Afghans as we've seen in the past, although that could change. Now, of course, these people coming back over here are, as on the one hand, they're facing a country at war. On the other hand, they're facing a country that has experienced the economic and the demographic shock last year of large number of returns, and whose economy has contracted by 4%. So they're entering a country that is ill-equipped to receive them. And I would also like to note that there are an estimated 100,000 Afghans of sensitive protection profiles who we think are in Iran, and who, if they are returned or if they happen to return to Afghanistan, could face severe persecution because of their profiles.
Yeah, and Afghanistan, as you say, is already facing major economic and humanitarian challenges. How prepared are the authorities and aid agencies to absorb a large number of returnees? What sort of support are these people going to be getting?
We are prepared in terms of, we've seen this before. So we know what to do. We have the infrastructure, we have the people. Likewise, with the de facto authorities, they are always on standby and ready to receive their brethren back home. What we all lack severely is the financial resources to actually mount a sustained operation that meaningfully receives people. So I'm here with other partners from the United Nations. We all know what to do. We're seasoned professionals, but we are suffering, as we did last year, from severe financial cuts. And if we're unable to receive the funding to receive Afghans this year, I fear that conflict, the destabilization that the region is already experiencing, will not be cushioned by additional help and could be further destabilized.
Arafat Jamal, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us about this issue. Arafat Jamal is the representative of the UN's refugee agency in Afghanistan. Thank you for your time.